Okay, you've definitely seen that penguin clip, right? The one that's all over social media. It feels so emotional, so symbolic, so human. But what if the story we all decided was true is actually completely wrong? Yeah, let's get into the real story behind it.
Yeah, you know the one. That lone penguin just marching away from its colony, heading off into, well, into what looks like oblivion. It's such a powerful image, and man, it has launched a million memes and probably a few existential crises late at night.
But here's the thing. Behind that one viral moment, there's a reality that is so much stranger, way more complex, and honestly, a lot more interesting than anything the internet came up with.
And this is really where the two stories just crash into each other. On one side, you have the internet story, this heroic tale of making a brave choice, of rebellion. And on the other side, you've got the scientific reality, a pretty tragic story of biology just going wrong.
Okay, so first, let's dive into the internet's version of this penguin. How on earth did a short clip of a waddling bird become this global legend?
Well, for starters, we gave it all these names, right? The nihilist penguin, the existential penguin, the lonely rebel. We basically just projected all of our own complicated human feelings onto it and created this whole identity that really just fit whatever story we wanted to tell. And it's wild how many different meanings people pulled from it. Seriously, they saw their own struggles in this one penguin's walk. They saw isolation, the search for freedom, battling depression, even like a quiet protest against the system. That penguin basically became a mirror for us.
But where did this clip even come from? I mean, really? The answer is pretty unexpected. It wasn't just some random tourist video. It takes us from a meme all the way back to a super famous documentary.
So, get this. The footage is from a 2007 documentary called Encounters at the End of the World. It's by the legendary German filmmaker Werner Herzog. And, he wasn't trying to make a meme. He was out there in Antarctica exploring the extreme conditions, the scientists working there, and, you guessed it, the really, really strange animal behaviors you find at the edge of the world.
And you really have to get Werner Herzog's vibe to understand this scene. He is not a guy who makes nature look all cute and cuddly. No, he's fascinated by the weird, unsettling, and chaotic parts of it. For him, nature is this powerful, totally indifferent force that, a lot of the time, makes absolutely no sense to us humans.
And what's so wild is the timeline here. The movie came out way back in 2007, but it took more than 10 years for this one little clip, totally ripped from its original context, to just explode online. That huge time gap was everything, because it let the internet completely rewrite what it meant.
Okay, so enough about the meme. Let's get into the tragic reality of what was actually happening from a scientific perspective.
So the most important detail here is the direction it was walking. It wasn't just wandering off from the group. It was walking away from the ocean, its only food source, and heading straight for the mountains, inland, in Antarctica. That's a one-way trip.
The scientists in the film actually have a word for this: disorientation. The penguin was probably just completely confused, lost. Its internal compass was broken. It couldn't figure out where it was or where it was supposed to go. This wasn't a choice. It was a biological malfunction. And that kind of malfunction could be caused by all sorts of things. Maybe it was sick, maybe it had some kind of neurological issue, or maybe it was just a super rare, really tragic glitch in its behavior. But the key thing here is, these are all biological reasons, not philosophical ones.
So let's be absolutely crystal clear about this. Based on everything we know about animal science, there is exactly zero evidence that this penguin was acting on some big idea like rebellion or having an existential crisis. It wasn't making a statement. It was just lost.
So if the viral story isn't actually about the penguin, then who is it about? Well, it's about us. This is where we get into the psychology of why this meme became so huge.
And it's a pretty straightforward process when you think about it. Step 1, we see something in nature that's confusing. Step 2, we immediately project our own human emotions onto it, loneliness, bravery, sadness. Step 3, we turn that animal into a metaphor for our own lives. And then step 4, we share that story because it's simple, it's powerful, and it feels true to us. And that is the real takeaway here. The viral story of the rebel penguin tells us almost nothing about penguin behavior, but it tells us a ton about human psychology. It's this perfect example of how badly we need to find meaning and create stories to make sense of a world that often feels pretty random.
So in the end, we're left with two totally different ways to look at this one single moment in time.
On one hand, you've got this incredibly powerful human metaphor. I mean, who cares where it came from, right? It now represents our own real-life struggles. But on the other hand, you have the cold, hard reality of nature, that this was just a rare, tragic, biological accident. And the weird thing is, both of those things can be true at the same time.
So I want to leave you with this question. Does knowing the scientific truth make the symbol less powerful? Was this penguin a deep metaphor for the human condition, or was it just a lost animal, a sad moment in nature that we completely misunderstood? Thinking about that might just change the way you look at the next viral video that pops up in your feed.